G'day guys, and welcome to another design team layout for Crazy Craft Obsession. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, let me just give you a little bit of a spiel while I'm creating this basket weave. I just have to let you know, Crazy Craft Obsession, they've been helping me with my channel a fair bit over the last 12 months. And I've been buying from them, well, actually 12 months, whatever. Anyway, and I've been buying from them pretty much exclusively. I've pretty much just been buying from them. But what I want to draw your attention it's one of those days, okay? I want to draw your attention to the fact that they've got some new stock in, different papers, different designers, different stencils, different stamps. They're things that you don't necessarily always see. You know, when you go onto a website and you always see the big brands, you know, the ones like I'm using here, PINKFRESH Studio, you know, like you get all the big brands, but you don't necessarily see any of the breakthrough brands. Well, they've got some of them over there. Trust me, go in my description, click on the link, go over to their store and check it out. It will not be, look, they only post to Australia and New Zealand, but check it out. You might find something there that is going to jog your creativity, whether you do scrapbooking, whether you do card making, whether you do art journaling. They might just have the one thing that you need. So jump over there and have a look. Now, what I'm using here is I'm using American Crafts white textured cardstock. Okay, so that's the white strips. And then what I did is I had one sheet of the Lovely Blooms collection, and then the piece of paper is actually called Spread Love. I don't know why it sounds wrong to me. It sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like it should be Spreading Love or something. I don't know. But Spread Love is what the sheet is called. And what I did is I went along and the strips of colour, I cut them in half. So I've ended up with 1/2-inch pieces just to make the basket weaving easier. Now, you will notice that when I'm doing this basket weave, I'm not actually trying to butt them up against each other. It's a very loose, I did this for a reason, and it's just, I didn't even want the weaving to be a perfect rectangle. I wanted it to sort of be a little bit skewed. And you can see that a little. I probably could have done it a lot more, but the OCD in me was struggling with it. But the concept in my head was great. But yeah. So see how this one, you can see how they're not perfectly distanced. And that's just something that I like the look of it. And it was great. So I'm just I used every single color on the way up. So on the horizontals. And then on the vertical strips, I just grabbed, see, this is what I was trying to create in my head, but I just couldn't quite go on that much of an angle. But I'll explain why in a little bit, and you'll see why I'm doing what I'm doing if you stick around and you check it out down the track. Like, just hang around, guys. This is worth it. Now, I am adding them on a little bit of an angle. Now, on the vertical lines, obviously I don't need as many because I'm not butting them right up against each other. So I'm just moving them across, and I'm moving the bottom across a little bit more than I am the top. Not really for any reason other than just to make it look a little bit different. Everyone can do a basket weave. Everyone can make it. I've done them before where I've made them perfect and they've been perfectly lined up together, and that's great, but that's not what I was going for. And it is very difficult to do that when everything is so linear and everything's cut so perfectly. It makes it difficult, but it's okay. I think it works. Now, what else can I tell you about this layout? This layout, I quite often, and I've explained this before and I'll explain it again. When I make a purchase of, whether it's Crazy Craft Obsession, I don't always purchase a full collection. The reason I do that, like for instance, this particular piece of paper, I didn't buy the whole collection. My apologies. I just yawned. It is like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm so sorry. Um, Sorry. It's been a super stressful week. Super stressful. Um, Now the reason I don't buy, full collections is because not that I don't love them. Oh, I do. I could buy paper until it literally takes up every single square centimeter of my room. I love them all, but I have to be realistic. Am I going to use them all? And are you going to want to watch the same? Can you see how it's not square? Just FYI. Um, are you going to want to watch every single piece of paper used out of that particular collection? I don't think so. I think that would be redundant, and I think there is so many pieces out there. Yeah. So that's why I don't buy full collections. I get bored with them, and I'm sure you would get bored looking at them. Now, what I've done here is I've gone over to my sewing machine and I've actually done a zigzag stitch across all of the white pieces. So horizontal and vertical, I have zigzag stitched the entire thing. You just saw me then. I just did it with my hand, just freehand, and I'm cutting out a curved section out of the center. Throw that away. You would wonder why. It looks really good. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to throw it away. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. Now, I was getting rid of the pencil lines. Now, this is the idea I had in my head, right? I wanted to go ahead and I'm using tear tape. I don't really know why. Normally I probably would have used glue, but yeah, I don't know why. I just decided I'd use tear tape, so that's what I did. Normally I use my tape runner, which is from look, I'll be honest with you, I've got a couple of rolls of tear tape that have been going for a while, and just I wanted to sort of use them so they weren't sitting out in the open air and get gluggy and sticky. That's probably what I was realistically thinking about. But you can see my tape runner there. I actually get that from, that was my daughter bringing me yummy food and a coffee. Now, this is what I had in my head. Now, this is where I have sat, I turned the camera off and I fussy cut another sheet. Oh my Lord, this is the most beautiful florals. These are stunning. These are the Simple Stories Wildflower collection, and it's called Complete Bliss. This paper, I know you guys understand what I'm saying. When you find a paper that is just wow, and you fussy cut it, it's just, it's heaven. Look at those blooms. They are absolutely stunning. And I don't even think the camera's doing justice for them. I think that they are just beautiful. Is this a bloom that I would use all the time? I would rather make one creation with one sheet of paper and have it, put the time and the effort into it and absolutely love it and just go with that rather than buying the whole collection and then being bored with it. But this is beautiful. If you can get your hands on this one, I will have the names of everything linked below of the two papers that I've used, and I know they've got them in stock. So you've got your PINKFRESH Studio Lovely Blooms collection, and you've got the Simple Stories Wildflower collection. It is just gorgeous. I know I've sped this up, guys, and speeding up is great until you're doing really intricate things. I'm not doing anything here that you can't sort of see in fast forward and know what I'm doing. If at any point you are watching this video and believe me, you want to stick around to the end, trust me on it when I tell you the punchline at the end is awesome. It just pops. It is so gorgeous. I feel like I haven't made a layout this gorgeous in a really long time. That's just me though. I like everything I do, but this one, wow, it's really nice. So, and it just so happens to be a design team layout. So this is what I decided to do. I wanted to cut out the hole in the center, but still leave enough of the basket weave. Can you see why I left it on a little bit of an angle? Because now there's a bit cut out in the middle. It looks a little bit more rustic. That's what I was trying to do with it. Now, yes, I've just cut the thread. I haven't glued them. I did go around the outside edges and I did pull all the threads through to the back so that it doesn't unravel there. But in the very center where I cut it, I didn't do anything with it. I've just left it because the flowers are going to go over the top of it. If one little zigzag comes undone, you're not going to notice it. So when it comes to doing hand sewing or machine stitching on your layouts, trust me, it's not as hard as you think. Now, I will be honest with you, I love machine stitching on layouts. I use my normal sewing machine. I don't do anything different. The only thing, if I was to give you a tip, is if I was going to give you a tip on anything at all, I'd have to say lengthen your stitch a little bit. So the only thing you have to do is just lengthen the stitch. I think I lengthened mine by one number, or not quite one full number. And the reason I did that is because when you're doing a straight stitch, if you're doing a really tight, short, straight stitch on material, not a problem. But on cardstock, you're punching the holes through the cardstock. So essentially you're perforating your paper. So you need to have those dots further apart so you don't just essentially cut your cardstock in half. So FYI, there's today's tip for machine stitching on a layout. Now I'm just going through here and I'm using up some of these foam dots and I'm just popping them under the leaves. Now I haven't gone through, I think I start doing it here. I start curling up the leaves and getting them bent a little bit so they look a little bit more organic. Now what I'm doing this time, normally when I'm using a floral like this or leaves like this, I'll pull out my distress oxides, I'll run them along the edges, could have done that too, but what I decided to do was go the opposite and add shine to it. We all know that I love me some shimmer, shine, sparkle, all that good stuff. And this particular layout, I went to town on it. I really did. I know you're probably looking at this at the moment thinking, Karen, your photos are too high. What are you doing? Your photos. I've specifically left that space for my title. I had a title in the back of my head and I haven't pulled it out yet, believe it or not. At this point, I actually never pulled it off my shelf until way down the track, and then thought, gee, I'm glad I knew where I was going with this because it just fits. Like the title just fits. It nestles in underneath those photos. I wish I had popped it down just maybe 1 or 2 millimeters lower, but the double-sided tape it grabbed and there was no separating it. What I do with this double-sided tape that I use is I make sure if there's a particular thing that I like, I make sure I buy that one. This particular, look, Crazy Craft Obsession have got really, really good scrapbook adhesive. That's where I get my art glitter glue from. And it is the best, in my opinion, liquid glue. Nuvo Deluxe is also a really, really good glue. I endorse that one as well. I don't have one at the moment because I'm using my art glitter glue, but the Nuvo Deluxe is a really good glue as well. So those two, when it comes to foam adhesive, they have scrapbook adhesive and they have squares, they have circles. I think they have strips now. I'm not sure, but I think they had strips when I was looking on their website the other day. I think they do have those. And they all help you create extra texture on your page. That's what I did the sewing for. It's visual texture. If you run your hand over it, you can feel the texture, but you can see the texture. That's what I like to add to a layout when I'm not trying to create massive amounts of bulk, because bulk is our enemy when it comes to our albums. So many people have been in touch with me and asked me what albums that I use because they've created their album and the spine's broken. Okay, now I'm going to tell you that not all albums are made equal. And the one thing you need to research is your environment. Like, I live in Queensland, sunny, hot, humid Queensland. Here's my title. Yay. And it fits. I'm so lucky it fit. That is from the Simple Stories. What's it called? Simple Stories, Simple Life foam stickers. That's the pack that it came from. It was from 2 design team boxes ago, but it worked beautifully on this page because it's just the right color. Now what I'm going through and doing is adding my flat back pearls. These are the PINKFRESH Studio metallic pearls in matte gold. I also use matte silver, and I also use PINKFRESH Studio clear drops in the iridescent. These things, if you have never tried a flat back pearl for anything, if you give just one a go, just one pack, if you buy the iridescent ones, I can guarantee you will be hooked for life, because these things are stunning, and anything you put them on, it just lifts the page. It gives you reflection, it gives you shimmer, it gives you shine. And because it's iridescent, it's not necessarily blue or yellow or purple or green. It literally, it is stunning. These things are beautiful. PINKFRESH Studios, they do an amazing job with these things. And the glitter ones, oh, there is no flat back pearl that I have ever found that is as sparkly, shiny and shimmery as the glitter drops from PINKFRESH Studio. They are divine. So now I'm just going around with my liquid pearls, and I'm going around the flat back pearl. So I do zoom into this very shortly for you. If you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate it. YouTube is giving me a little bit of ups and downs this week, but don't worry, it's going to be all good in the end. So I'm going around. When it comes to my liquid pearls, I used marigold, white opal. You can see my little tray of liquid pearls there. I have a huge variety of different colors, but when you're buying them, buy the colors that you find that you would use the most. Now what I'm doing here is I've actually squirted out a little bit of the what is that? I haven't written that color down. I have not written that color down. I'm going to grab it as we speak. It is called Bahama Bay. That's the color I'm using at the moment. And what I'm doing is I'm just using my pokey tool, and I'm getting a little bit of it on the end, and it's allowing me to drag and leave a raised, glossy, shiny bit of green on the leaves. So I'm able to sort of follow the veins, if that makes sense. And it looks gorgeous. I love it. Don't discount the tools you already have. You don't have to necessarily buy a new tool for this. If you've got a pokey tool, if you don't have a pokey tool, get a pin, get the end of a pencil, no, don't use the end of a pencil. I meant mechanical pencil. Draw the lead up and just use the end of that. I was using my embossing tool there. Find a tool that gives you the thickness that you want, and boom, bada bing, it will work. Then what I did is I brought in the glossy accents. All these extra bits that I'm putting on top, it's bringing the flowers to life. It's giving them depth. It's giving them shine, shimmer. It's allowing them to come alive. And I think this page turned out beautiful. even though it doesn't have a border. Did anybody notice that? I didn't do a border on it, and it took every fiber of my being not to. I was going to do a border, and then I went, no, just stop. I think it would have looked great with one. I think it would have finished off just that little bit more, but I stopped myself and I didn't do it. So had I have cut the edges down and added the border and done the dimensions before I put all the florals on there, I think it would have worked. But so this is me procrastinating. Do I put any more on there? And then I do. I just go around and add some more iridescent dots, because the iridescent pearls, I should say, because these, it's kind of like, imagine you garden in the morning and you've woken up on a winter's morning and there's dew on everything. That's what these dots, did you see what I just did then? Did you see how I splattered them everywhere? Looked really effective on video. There's today's stuff up for you guys. Yeah, I had to hunt around and pick them all up. But yeah, so I absolutely love how these turned out. And yeah, so let me know what you think. If you haven't already liked or subscribed to my channel, please like and subscribe, because I've had lots of issues this week with YouTube, and they've been having a bit of an up and down situation on me. So, and especially if you're trying to watch, there was a video posted earlier this week. If you're not able to watch it, that's because you're not logged in to YouTube. If you log into YouTube using your username and password, you will be able to watch it, providing you're 18 plus. And it's purely because of the picture I used. In future, I will cover the picture. So there you go, guys. There is the layout. Thank you so much for watching. Look at all that beautiful texture. And I did this on American Crafts white textured cardstock, so I've got that in the background. Hence, I didn't do any stenciling in the background because I had a little bit of texture there anyway. And see all the glossy, shiny, shimmery goodness. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you think below, and I will be back with you tomorrow with another video. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, head over to Crazy Craft Obsession, go through my link that is in the description below, and have a look, check it out. Even if you only grab 1 or 2 sheets of paper and maybe a liquid pearl, something like that, all of that goes towards helping my channel. Thank you so much, guys. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you, and I will be back with you tomorrow with another video. Bye for now, guys.